Hi everybody. I'm going to do some problems from the study guide so that you have them and can go through them. I'm going to start on the third page first. I am going to actually go back to number 5 for one of them shortly, but I do want to talk about some of the things here first. And there's a reason why I'm starting here, because I made a little mistake on the other one and the whiteout is drying. All right. So I think we know how to determine the slope, change in y over change in x. So many different ways that you could figure that out. You can write the points down and, change in y. How'd you get from 11 to 6? You took away 5. How'd you get from -2 to 5? You added 7. Change in y over change in x, -5/7. Okay. You could also do that similarly this way. The points mean they're also in a table. They mean the same thing. How'd you get from there to there? How'd you get from there to there? -5, change in y over change in x. And I know that some of you like to do change in y, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Either way, we're going to get -5/7. Just a real other point here. What if you did it in a way that you got this? 5/-7. Does that mean the same thing? Yes, it does. Please know that these two are equal to each other. Doesn't matter, as long as there's one negative and one positive, they both mean the same thing. All right. This one I'll review too, 8a. I really like 8a for juniors because there's our formula. Slope equals change in y over change in x. Juniors take chemistry. Chemistry has so many formulas that look a lot like this. And you have to plug everything in to find one variable that we don't know. But everything else we do know. We don't know the r, and that's going to come into play here. So let's fill in what we do know. M is 2, so that goes there. Change in y. R minus 3. I'm going from here to here, and then I'm going to do it this way too. You could have done 3 minus 6 and then 3 minus r over here. It would give you the same answer. Six minus 3 is 3. Times 3, both sides, cancels that. 6 equals r minus 3. Add 3, r equals 9. And you can always plug it back in and do the math. Does that work? 6/9, 3. Does that give us a slope of 2? Well, how'd you get from 9 to 3? You took away 6. How'd you get from 6 to 3? You took away 3. -6 divided by -3 is equal to 2, positive. And that's what our slope is. 9a is my favorite one on here. As I told you, so many things, because we need to graph, identify at least 2 points. So, couple different ways that you can do this. One is, and I'll do that in black, maybe you remember how to graph with slope-intercept form. This is the y-intercept, -1, so there's a point. What's the slope? Down 4/1. So there's our other point, and there's our graph. So we've done that piece of it right here. But what point is this? This is 0, -1 because it's an intercept. What point is this? Over 1, down 5. So -5. So that's one way to do this and to identify the points. Okay, not a bad way to do it. Certainly will get you the right answer. You got to remember that slope is equal to, remember this, I'm going to write it because we're going to need it. Slope is equal to rise over run, right? Change in y over change in x, -4 over 1. That's our slope. What's our y-intercept? -1. Okay, now our slope is 4, -4 and 1. So here's one point. We know it right from here. And then if we do change in y over change in x, we're going to get that. So take away 4 from here. -1 minus 4 equals -5, or you can kind of realize you're going down. 0 minus 1 is -1. And what did I do wrong? Oh, sorry, that's +1. Because the slope is -4 over +1. So -4 here, but +1 here. So we're going up. So 0 to +1. And that's the point that we got. 1, -5 over here. 1, -5. And there are your 2 points. And you could graph that one second. So I've shown you 2 ways to do this, where you find the points first and then graph, or you can graph, find the intercept, do the rise and run, and then find the points that way. Really kind of critical, folks, to show that. Use green for this. Graph. Equation. Table. Points. They all mean the same thing. They're all representing a linear relationship, visually through a graph, through an equation, our shorthand, and then the actual points that are on the graph too. Okay? So there's so many layers to slope, and rate of change, and intercepts, and linear relationships. I'm trying to kind of show you those. Okay? With y here, with this one, I'm not going to do it out, but really all you want to do on this one, part B, find the intercepts. Okay? I think it's important to be able to do that. Okay, number 10, Miss Fay went over in class. 10A. 10B. Find the slope. We did that already. So find the slope. You'll get 2 points. Sorry, you're going to get a number. You're going to get a number for a slope. How'd you get from 3 to 1? You took away 2. How'd you get from -2 to 0? You added 1. Sorry, it's the end of the school day. I apologize. You added 2. I'm jumping ahead because the change in y over the change in x is -1. So that's our slope. And then you can do point slope form. Y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Pick a point. Use this one or this one. Doesn't matter. And then do the math out. Okay, perpendicular, opposite, reciprocal. So the slope of a line perpendicular to this is going to be -1/4. And then you're going to do just like you did in letter A on this. You already now know the slope and you know a point, so use point slope form. Here, slope is going to be -1/2. It's the same slope when they're parallel lines. So that's something you want to have in your notes too. So look at the answer key on those. And I'm going to do one more with you. Notice I got some white out on there. I had actually started a video and I had to cut it short because I made a mistake. I don't like to make mistakes. Find the x and y intercepts. Find 2 points where x is 0 and y is 0. And that's because when x is 0, you're going to find the y-intercept. When y is 0, you're going to find the x-intercept. So do the math. X is 0, solve for y. So you're substituting y equals mx plus b, this relationship, you're substituting 0 for x. So y is equal to 12. You're going to realize right away, wherever the 0 is, that's going to 0 out. So 0, 12. Now for this one, I'll do it in red. Y is equal to 0. So 0 equals 5x plus 12. This is where y equals 0. And you can solve for x here. Take 12 away from both sides. That's cancel. Negative 12 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5. X equals negative 12 fifths. Okay? So, really important to be able to find x and y intercepts. You can do it in standard form. You can do it in whatever form it is and just solve for x and y. But it's a really important concept. Maybe we're going a little too slow. I'm not sure. Give us some feedback. But it's like one of the topics that we really want to make sure that you get. And then rate of change, change in y, change in x. And you could have chosen any of them, and you'd get the same result. You could have gone from 20 to 100. What if you went from 20 to 100? That's plus 80. And then 3 to 15 is plus 12. Guess what? If you simplify this fraction, guess what you get? That, 20/3. So this hopefully covers some of the other stuff that will help you in, for the quiz on anything. All right, and let us know if you want to spend time during Flex tomorrow. We can do that. But, you know, have a good study guide. Go from there. All right, you guys? Awesome job.